Hey guys, it's the Pepper Wolverine over here in Willowbrook, Illinois again. Slightly special edition review here for me. I say that because I've got a box of pods here that I just received today. It's a gorgeous selection of some really nice looking peppers. Several of them never had before, like the one we're going to look at today. Tangerine Scream. This box of pods was sent to me by Mr. Jimmy Johnson. We striked up a beginning of a relationship, and hopefully it's just the start of that, and we'll continue on over the course of time. But he sent me a box of pods, a couple cool looking Tangerine Screams. I like this pheno better, so I'm going to keep that one for the seeds, and this one I'm going to eat and review it and maybe pull out a seed or two. We'll see what it looks like when I actually cut it open. But he sent me some really cool peppers. This one also I've never had, a Lucy out of Great Britain, the UK. Something that's labeled a Kojak Red. I think there's a Kojak Yellow in here. I'm not in the know, so I don't know if that's like something that was supposed to be something else and it's not, or if that's actually like somebody, don't know. Not a not orange brain strain, which no, it's not. It's not bumpy enough to be a brain strain. It almost looks like some of the yellow fatale brain strains I had, or I have actually. A couple carbarugas, which these are really good peppers. We got some 7-pot Primo carbarugas in the garden, and I love them. It's a carbaruga, a hotter version of the carbaruga, and one that I'll probably do a second review of out of this box because I'm curious about these. The Boot Orange Copenhagen cross with a Reaper. I mean, I really like the Boot Orange Copenhagen. Reapers, I mean, who doesn't like them to a certain extent? So this one should be a pretty interesting cross. So Jimmy, thanks for forwarding this box on to me. The things that we talked about, I'll be sending to you as soon as they're ready. Let's see what we got here. So we've got a Tangerine Scream grown by Jimmy Johnson. He acquired the seeds from a European company called Devil Pods, and unfortunately they don't publish any information about any of the peppers they have on their website. They got a bunch of interesting names like porcupine and some other things. I mean, I don't remember all of them right now. I was definitely looking because I was looking for some information to see what I could find. The only thing they say about this Tangerine Scream is it's the hottest orange/peach pod out there, which if that's the case, I'm going to be a little bit concerned because I've had a couple pretty hot orange peach pods. Specifically here, a couple weeks ago I did a review of something out of the garden that was supposed to be a Reaper, looked like a Reaper cross or possibly a Cali Reaper, California Reaper, or a Jay's Peach Coast Scorpion Reaper cross, and I mean, it almost devastated me. I've had a hard time almost a hard time doing the review. Oops, didn't do a very good job of that. That's okay. Interesting aroma. Opening it up, it smells fruity. Actually, I mean, it almost has a citrus aroma. I didn't do a very good job of cutting it right down the middle. You can see there's decent amount of elongated placenta, decent seed base at the bottom close to the stem, little bit of glistening on the inside, so there's definitely some oils present, not a boatload of them, but there's some. Has a slightly reminiscent smell of a scorpion for me. I'm wondering if that's not where it's getting the tail to it. I mean, the shape itself is interesting in the respect that it looks like it wanted to go out into the start of almost 4 lobes and then coming out into the tail projection or point. Wish I knew a little bit more about this, but I don't, so all I can do is tell you what it looks like, tell you what it tastes like, give you an idea how hot it is. It's a rather thin to maybe just slightly medium wall pepper. I mean, there's not a whole lot of wall to it, but I'm thinking it's going to be crunchy. I mean, and I'm thinking that because this thing looks like it was picked in prime condition. I'm thinking that about probably as good as this might get. Tangerine cream, halfway in. It's not the most enjoyable flavor. It's bitter, and that half of this pepper didn't have any seeds in it. Interesting. Based upon the smell, which was, you know, a little bit citrus, slightly floral, I didn't think it was going to be that bitter, but the bitterness is subsiding very quickly, and it's actually quite floral. So the tangerine cream, let's see what it's got. So this half had all the seeds in it, and biting through the seeds, it's definitely bitter. Should have removed them, but never had the pepper before, so I only have 2 of them. I did move 1, 2, 3, 4. I did knock off 5 loose seeds that were inside just in case I might want to grow it. And Jimmy asked me to forward some seeds back to him, so I will. Super floral, bitter, floral. Not the best tasting pepper. Immediately attacking the tongue. So it's definitely, this thing's going to have a good amount of heat to it. It's going to climb, I can tell that, because it's kicking in pretty quick. That seed was stuck in the side of the mouth. I'll put that down there and save that too, since I didn't bite through it. There's one more good seed. I got the pepper all the way down. I'm trying to find something about the flavor that I can describe to you guys as the heat's starting to kick in and climb, because it's definitely climbing. It attacked the tongue first. Now it's kind of moved out across the width of the tongue, starting to work its way back into the esophagus and the throat. It's got a slightly, okay, the bitterness is subsiding. Floralness, the floral nature is still there, but it's starting to subside to the point where I can get some flavors. But the heat's just seriously attacking the tongue. It's probably gonna be a minute before I can really get a discernible flavor, because I got to get past this building crescendo of heat. It's a serious amount of heat in it. Definitely one of the hotter pods out there for the tangerine. They call it tangerine cream. I mean, I guess it's tangerine, but it's really I mean, for me, this is orange. So, good amount of burn to it. I'd be interested to know what, I would like to know what this is, meaning the heritage. I'm salivating like crazy, working its way back to the ear. It feels like it wants to give me a ear ringer, but it's not quite there. staying around the tongue, trying to go to the back of the throat. It is making me sweat just a little bit, and that's not temperature related because it's early evening here, 7:15, and it's already down to like 72 degrees, so it's not temperature, that's heat. Starting to make the nose run, so it's starting to clean out the sinus passages. So that's a good sign of a certain amount of heat also. And I'm having a hard problem picking out a discernible flavor. It's still floral. I mean, it's biting the tongue like a monsterly hot, ferocious scorpion type pepper. For whatever reason, scorpions always give me like a pin sensation, like someone's putting 10,000 pins all over it just simultaneously. That's what I feel at the moment. I mean, it's a pretty darn hot pod. It's not as hot as the unknown Reaper cross, possible California Reaper I did recently, but it's pretty close. Although those pods were a little bit different, they're a little bit bigger. This one might have blown me up a little bit more. It's a little bit larger, not much, but a little bit. But I like the pheno of this one coming down into the stinger, so I saved that one for the seeds. So we're good, I don't know, 5-6 minutes in. Heat's possibly plateaued, actually. I'm trying to figure out if there's any new effects coming on, and other than the fact that maybe now the roof of my mouth is tingling, a little bit on fire. Hard to say. Maybe it just it peaked rapidly as opposed to a creeper climb, and I'm still just adjusting to the effects of it. It definitely could be the case. I mean, it's a pretty darn hot pepper. There's a little bit of sweetness on the backside, but only a little bit. I mean, it's hard to get through. Actually, I think this pepper actually does have a decent amount of flavor. I think my problem is the way it's attacking my tongue is my taste buds maybe have been temporarily fried by the pepper. Maybe that's what it is. Because I feel different notes of slightly citrus, slightly fruity, still floral. Bitterness is gone. It's subsided completely. I'm kind of a lack to describe this tangerine scream. It's hot, that's for sure. Almost making my eyes water. Didn't quite get to my ears. I mean, it did, but maybe like on a 1 alarm ringer. And I rate my ear ringers up to 5. I've get up to 2 and 3 frequently, gotten up to 4/5 a couple times, gotten to 5, which for me was basically panic mode twice. This one's barely a 1. I mean, I can feel it. Much like something other that I did recently, I can feel it more so in one ear than the other ear, which is interesting because subsequently one nostril's clogged, the other's wide open. It still has that like scorpion type stinging bite to it, and I apologize about the lighting. Changing my phone, I know just now noticed that it keeps trying to constantly adjust based upon the lighting. Maybe because it's the light levels in the background are dimming little by little as it's the evening is coming on. Sorry about that. Next time maybe I'll just skip the outside early evening reviews and go in the basement for constant lighting, so you guys don't get annoyed by that. But and it's a small detail. So yeah, it definitely peaked. It plateaued. It's on the down climb. The stinging starting to go away. The intense biting effect on the tongue starting to subside. The decent amount of salivation created from the heat subsiding. Started attacking the esophagus a little bit. Not much though. Interesting. Sorry if you guys caught that, but I just burped. And interestingly enough, the flavor of the burp was actually quite enjoyable. It was really citrusy and fruity. So the same notes that I was getting on the backside of the burn were just very present in the burp. So maybe I did accurately describe it as kind of like temporarily disabling my taste buds due to the immense amount of heat attacking my tongue. Maybe that's why I couldn't get a great flavor on it. I was not able to really describe it. It's, Tangerine's cream, pretty darn good pepper. I personally like something with a little bit more discernible flavor in it. Not so floral. I mean, if had I taken out the seeds, the bitterness would have been significantly less. It wouldn't have eliminated it because the first half of that pod that I ate had no seeds in it, and it was still slightly bitter. But the opposite half, which had the most of the placenta and all of the seeds, was quite bitter. It did subside quickly, which is good. But I was left for a good several minutes with a overpowering floral taste, which a lot of people aren't fans of, myself included. I can manage through it. I like to have a better aftertaste when the floral flavor subsides. This one, it was there, but would have liked a little bit more. Still it's a good pepper. I mean, the heat is there. Really hot pepper. Hey, Jimmy Johnson, thanks for sending me all of these pods. I think I'll do the BOC Reaper this weekend, and we'll see what that's about. These peppers are in prime condition. You picked them at the peak ripeness. You're obviously a gentleman that knows what he's doing, knows his peppers. I appreciate you sending this to me, and I'll be posting this pretty soon and making good on what we talked about. So thank you very much. Hope everyone has a good evening, and we'll be doing this again pretty soon with probably the BOC Boot Orange Copenhagen times a Reaper that came out of looks like seeds came from United Kingdom, Great Britain, England. From the name on here is Paul Willett. Not familiar with him, but a bunch of you out there might be. So thanks for tuning in. This has been a Pepper Wolverine review. We were reviewing the Tangerine's cream, and it's a pretty hot tangerine orange pod from Devil's Pods that Jimmy Johnson grew out and shared with me. So thanks once again. We'll do this soon. Thanks. Have a good one.